I've built several studio spaces over the last 8 years working in production and also just recording YouTube content out of my different home studios over the years. And through it all, I have found 10 consistent pieces or categories of gear that you'll need no matter the size of your YouTube studio.
You gotta just press record.
Hi everybody, Craig Pruitt with Think Media. Let's just dive right into the first piece of gear that you would obviously need, which is a camera. Depending on your budget, it might be most beneficial just to use your phone. Right here, I have the iPhone 15 Pro Max. I love this phone, and the camera on this phone is really solid, especially when we're talking about the rear-facing camera. If you have an iPhone that's probably starting around the iPhone 11 or newer, these iPhones have incredible rear-facing cameras that shoot high-quality 4K videos. So if you already have a phone, it might be your best option. If you don't want to use your phone and you want to use a dedicated camera, which is actually probably the recommendation that I would give you, our team tends to shoot on Sony camera systems, and the baseline Sony recommendation we would give is the Sony ZV-E10. We've done a ton of reviews on the Sony ZV-E10 on the Think Media channel. You can check those out if you want more information about that camera and the benefits of moving to a mirrorless style camera like the ZV-E10. Some other Sony recommendations would be the Sony a6700 or the Sony FX30. These are very similar cameras that use the same image sensor but have a really high quality image coming straight out of camera. And the camera that I'm currently shooting on is the Sony FX3. This is a way more expensive camera, closer to the $4,000 price point, but the image quality is outstanding. So if you're building a YouTube studio, the first question you want to ask is, what camera am I going to use to record all of my content? The second thing that every YouTube studio needs is a good high quality microphone. Currently, I'm using the Audio-Technica AT2020 podcasting microphone. I like this microphone a lot, and I've had it over like the last 6 years or so. And after testing tons of microphones, I just personally like the way this microphone sounds with my voice. So I choose the AT2020 as my main podcasting microphone. But if you're someone who doesn't do a lot of podcasting or streaming, you might want a more traditional like shotgun style microphone like this one right here. This is the Rode VideoMic Go 2. We love this microphone. It's very affordable at $99. And this mic comes with a 3.5mm connection or a USB connection. So you can connect this to a bunch of different cameras, or you could connect to a computer or phones or tablets via the USB input right here. And if you need to be more mobile and maybe you do like real estate content or you are running a cooking channel, you might need a lapel mic or a lavalier mic. These are kind of interchangeable words, but that's a mic that you can clip to your body and have like a wireless transmission unit on you and then send that feed directly to your camera. A great system is the Rode Wireless Pro system, or any of the Rode wireless systems like even the original Rode Wireless Go or the Rode Wireless Go 2, the Rode Wireless ME. These are awesome systems. We'll link some of them down in the description below. So you've got a good camera, you got a good microphone. Now you need some lighting. Actually, let me just show you what this shot would look like with no lights. And this, my friends, is why lighting is important. Much better. You really need high quality lights to not only light up yourself, but also light up your space. If you only think about lighting yourself, you're going to have a really dark background and you're not going to have a lot of depth to your scene. So you want to make sure you're considering how you can light the objects behind you and the space behind you and in front of you, as well as your physical body. For the main light that is lighting you, we call this a key light, and I'm using a key light overhead right here. And one of our favorite selections is the Amaran 60D because it's a very bright light, a very high quality light, and also very affordable at around $169 new. We've used this light in many different setups over the years, and it's a really high recommendation from us. If you need to add fill lighting to your scene to fill up some of the shadows or add accents to different parts of the room, I actually recommend this company, Zhiyun. It's spelled ZHIYUN. They make a lot of really great accent lights at very different price points. So basically any budget range is able to pick up something in their lineup. If you have like $30, $50, or $100, you're gonna get a high quality accent light. Several of their lights even have RGB controls, so you can add a splash of color to your scene, which is really neat. I've also installed Philips Hue lights so that I can change the lighting in my studio if I need to, especially for like editing purpose. I like setting a mood, but sometimes I even turn these lights on. They're on right now to fill the space a little bit more. I just have it set to daylight temperature, but I could change these to like purple in the background, and now you can see the lighting just changed a little bit. I like Philips Hue lights. Sometimes you can actually get some flicker in your image depending on the frame rate that you're shooting with, but overall, I haven't had a lot of problems with Philips Hue. The fourth item on our list has to deal with lights, but it's lighting modification. When you think about light, in order for light to actually look really well, you have to think about how you're going to modify the light to make it most pleasing for your subject or your scene. I'm using a really large softbox overhead, which gives me a nice soft light that kind of wraps around my cheek and my nose. If I were to take off this softbox, it would first of all be way too bright, but it'd also be a really harsh light and create a little bit more like sharp lines on my face, and we don't want that necessarily. So softboxes are really important. important. You could also think through, if you did not want to purchase a fill light, you could grab something as simple as a poster board, a white poster board, and set that up on your fill side. And now your key light is hitting this white source of light over here, and it's creating a fill effect without actually needing an additional light. So that's a really cool modification you can use. Other things you want to think through are how you can block out light if you need to. Sometimes it's great to utilize natural light and use that natural light. You could set yourself up in front of a window and use that window as your key light. In my case, the window is behind me in my studio space, so I needed to add blackout curtains because sometimes the sun's just shining right into my studio and the sun is too bright, so I need to block out that light with some blackout curtains. Or if it's nighttime, the glass behind me gets very reflective because it turns pure black, so you can see all the reflections of my lighting in my studio, so I need to close those blinds in order to eliminate those reflections. So no matter the size of your studio space, you've got to think through the way you're going to modify lighting to make sure you have the most pleasing image for your scene. The fifth item that every studio needs is a tripod. Here at Think Media, we often talk about the acronym AVLS. So this stands for audio, video, lighting, which we've already covered those three. Next would be stabilization. So the simplest and easiest and probably the most cost-effective way to stabilize your camera, but still be able to have a little bit of modularity with it, is going to be a tripod. The most affordable tripod that I actually recommend is going to be the Magnus VT350 video tripod. This thing actually has a really cool fluid head for the money. And as I'm recording this video, it's literally the tripod that I'm using to host my camera right now. So if you need a cheap budget tripod, this comes in at around $80 to $85. I think it's a great find for that price point. If you'd like something a little bit smaller and more portable, I'd recommend the Freewell travel tripod. I've had this tripod for a while. It fits into a bag really easily. You can take it in a suitcase if you need something to travel with. And then of course, there's very expensive tripods. I have one from Smooth Camera Gear. This is a newer company that I've found that makes really high quality tripods for a more affordable price point. We'll link some of these different options down below in the description, but you obviously need to make sure you have a tripod to mount your camera with for your YouTube studio. A quick word from our sponsor of this video, Epidemic Sound.
If you're a content creator or YouTuber that's looking for music or sound effects for your videos, then you've got to check out Epidemic Sound. Epidemic Sound has the best selection of music for your videos that allow you to monetize with no issues, and you can search according to mood, music style, beats per minute, so that every time you find that perfect track. And the reason I love Epidemic Sound is, number one, the music is amazing, but number two, you have full rights to monetize your content on YouTube and social media wherever you're using their songs. So if you're ready to take your videos to the next level and access the largest music and sound effects catalog of its kind, just use the link in the description down below to take advantage of this special offer. All right, let's jump back into the video.
All right, those are the first five and kind of the main things that round out the technical aspects of your studio space. But there are some things too that you might not be thinking of that every single studio needs to consider. The first being light stands. If you spend money to invest in high quality lighting, you obviously need a way to mount those lights in a proper orientation. So there's a couple options here. There's a 2-pack from Newer that costs only $40 on Amazon. You can get a couple of light stands to mount your key light and your fill light. These aren't the greatest light stands in the world, but if it's something you're just gonna set up and really forget about it, it's fine. It'll hold most lights, no problem. If you wanna spend a little bit more money and invest in some high quality light stands, you can look at these Manfrotto light stands. This is a 3-pack for around $350. I bought these light stands for my professional production work, and I have to say, I probably will never need a new pack of light stands because of how high quality these light stands are. I love them. They're really compact and easy to travel with as well, but can hold a lot of weight. And some of my light setups are like 10 to 15 pounds, and they hold those lighting rigs no problem. So those are some light stand options. Don't forget about your light stands as you're building out your YouTube studio kit. Number 7 on the list is just the variety of cables that you need to acquire in order to rig everything out. These are things like power strips, XLR cables for a microphone like this, 3.5mm cables or extenders. Some of the cables that you need for production work will come with the equipment that you purchase. So you might purchase a microphone that comes with an XLR cable or a 3.5mm cable, but you might want an extender to run that 3.5mm cable longer than the reach. Like, look at this cable right here. This thing's like 4 or 5 inches long, and you might need a longer cable if you're wanting to mount this right here, and your camera is like 3 or 4 feet away. You've got to account for these kinds of things. And power strips are a big thing. I have a power strip under my desk that is running all of the equipment you see right here is all funneled onto a power strip. So make sure to account for all of the cables you need to purchase. Number 8 on our list is what I'm calling an anchoring position. Now this could take the form of a desk and a chair like I have right here, or it could be as simple as some tape on the floor to mark an X on the floor, but you need to know where you're gonna position yourself as the talent in the frame. Rather than just floating around your studio space and not knowing where you're gonna rig your lighting up or point your camera towards, you need to know where you're gonna anchor yourself in the studio space. So for me, I'm using this desk from FlexiSpot. This one is a little bit more of an expensive desk. It's around $700 or $800 because it is a sit stand desk, which I love. I love to be able to stand up sometimes when I'm editing, or even if I want to film myself in a standing position and still have a desk in the frame. This FlexiSpot desk works great for that. But an $800 desk like this is not needed. I've historically used actually a $99 desk from Amazon, which is right here still in the frame. I love this little desk right here. It's awesome. This desk is also 55 inches, just like my FlexiSpot desk, and it's $99. For my current office chair, I'm using the C7 chair from FlexiSpot, and this is almost a $400 chair. I don't necessarily recommend spending $400 on a chair, but this one does have some pretty good lumbar back support, and I hurt my back playing college football a while ago, and I just figured I should probably invest in a good chair. But the chair that you see right here is the Sophia and William ergonomic rocking mesh office desk chair. Goodness, that is such a long name for a chair. It's closer to like $100 or $120, and I used that chair for many years. So those are some options you can look into, but really all you need is to think through, how am I going to anchor myself to my frame? Am I going to have a desk? Am I going to have a chair? Am I going to be standing in the frame? Should I get a bar stool to sit up a little bit taller in the frame? These are all questions I can't necessarily answer for you, but you do need to think through them as you're building out your YouTube studio. The next item on our list is some sort of monitoring solution so you can view yourself when you're recording. Now this can be an actual monitor, kind of like I'm using right here to view my screen. This is a 7-inch monitor from FieldWorld. But nowadays, a lot of camera manufacturers are even including apps that allow you to view your camera's feed from your mobile device. So you could use your phone just as a monitor to be able to record yourself. Now, if your camera has a flip out screen, congrats, you already have a monitor to be able to record yourself when filming. But if your camera does not have this feature, there are a lot of really great budget options around the $80 to $90 price point for a budget monitor, or you can invest in something a little bit higher quality. One of my favorite companies is Atomos, and they have a lot of great monitors, but they're definitely a little bit more premium and come with that premium price tag. So whatever solution you come up with for monitoring yourself when recording is awesome, but just know that it's something you definitely will have to think about. And in every studio I've ever created, I've had to come up with a solution for this problem. And the 10th and final thing you'll want to add to your YouTube studio are props. Now, props are something that are kind of personal, and you can add your own flavor to them. As you can see in my studio space, I have like a little plant over in this corner. I also have a little globe. I have a production slate that's kind of a piece of decor. I have a VHS camera that's actually functional, and I love shooting on VHS, but it also makes for a great prop. Props are just a really fun thing to add your own personal flavor to your YouTube studio space. I've had a lot of fun trying to figure out how to outfit this studio with some different props, and my wife has been very helpful, especially at selecting some of these fake plants that I would inevitably kill if they were real. I can't keep a plant alive. So there you have it. Those are the 10 items or categories of items that you will need in every YouTube studio, regardless of the size of your room. So if you want to check out all of the gear that we mentioned in this video, we'll have links down in the description below for everything. And if you want to check out how you could build an entire YouTube studio setup on a single stand, check out this awesome video that Omar did by clicking or tapping the screen here, and we'll see you in the next video.